Good morning. All right, that was exactly loud enough to stop everyone's conversations. Perfect. Welcome. Please grab a seat. It's great to have you all here. I'm Raj Kumar. I'm the president and editor in chief of Devex. I want to welcome everyone here in Sharm el Sheikh to Devex at COP27. And I want to welcome everyone who is online, who's not here with us in Egypt, to this session. Is, I think, going to give you a glimpse into what you've maybe been missing and hopefully distill some of the conversations that are happening in the Blue Zone into something we can take away and work with. This is the COP that is the implementation COP. And I think the synonym for implementation is development. This is the development COP, right? This is the how COP. Other COPs have been about policy, about government support. This one's like, how do we actually do this? This is the roll up your sleeves COP. And that's what this session is about today. This is also a little bit of an oasis for those of you who spent time in the Blue Zone. Wow, the Blue Zone is, it's a lot. You can walk for miles for those who are not here and haven't seen it, and you're still in it. And there are pavilion after pavilion and tens of thousands of people, all allies in this fight. But there's a sense of cacophony. And this is really meant to bring context to that cacophony. And that's what we do every day with our journalism at Devex, right? We're trying to find out what are those threads underneath all the noise that happens in the development sector that all of you who do this work every day can take away with you and do something with. That's what today is all about. I want to say that the backdrop, though, has shifted quite a bit, right? In Glasgow, where Devex did a similar event and had similar coverage, the picture was a bit different because we were talking about the climate challenge as this long-term challenge that was immediate as well, and there was a sense of alignment around that. Today, things are a bit different. There is a food crisis. There is an energy crisis. There is a debt crisis in much of the low and middle income world. And so countries are looking at this situation and saying, well, we actually have some short-term challenges that maybe compete with some of these long-term objectives around climate. How do we balance those? That's a different picture than we've had just a year ago. And in fact, it's quite interesting that at this meeting where you walk through that Blue Zone and you see all the energy around doing something about climate right now, immediately, this is also the best year in history for the fossil fuel industry. The best ever. $2 trillion in profits in 1 year. So these two things are happening at once, and it's a little bit hard to put those together in our minds, and we're going to do that today. We're going to try to unpack what does this actually mean? What is this moment all about? And where do we take it from here? And one of the ways we're going to do that is we're going to talk about the places where climate meets many of the other development challenges. So today we're going to have sessions on women and their leadership in the climate fight, on food systems and climate, on conflict and climate. We're going to talk about climate finance and where the state of play is on that, about community resilience and locally led solutions. We're going to look at health and how it intersects with climate. And in fact, we've been working on that issue of environment and health through a content series we've been running for 6 months now called Planetary Health. And I recommend you take a look at that. We'll send it out on Twitter, in fact, now so that you can learn more. We've been doing that with CRS and Cordaid and Sanofi. And we're looking at tropical diseases, malnutrition from drought, biodiversity loss, what that means for medical research. Those are all issues I think we need to be aware of, and you can get smart on those quickly if you want by checking out that series. We're doing at this COP what we call the COPcast. It's our podcast. And in fact, my first session on stage is part of that. And that's a great way on your very long flight back home, wherever you've come from, to check in and listen to some of the more interesting conversations I think you'll hear during this week. So I recommend you take a look at that. You can find it on Apple and on any of the other podcast places you look, Spotify, et cetera. I do want to mention on your tables, there are a couple of QR codes for those of you who are here in person. One opens up the program so you can see a bit of what I was just describing in terms of the sessions. The other gives you a discount to Devex Pro. You don't need that because you've all already subscribed to Devex Pro, I'm sure. But Devex Pro is our premium subscription. It not only supports our journalism at Devex, but it also gives you insight into some of the deeper stories we do. For example, yesterday's piece on the Gates Foundation's $1.4 billion new commitment around food systems. We really unpack that and what it means, where the money's going, et cetera. And we do that for our members around the world. So thank you for being a pro member, and if you're not, you can take advantage of that discount here. I also want to mention that this event and all the events we do at Devex would not be possible without partners. And I want to mention them and thank them for their support. Our innovation partners today are Chorus, RTI International, and Tetra Tech. Our supporting partners are Apt Associates and Pathfinder, and our ecosystem partner is Deloitte. These are all leaders in their respective areas, and they bring us not only financial support for events like this, but also expertise that you will see in some of the partner-supported sessions during the day. So we thank them for that. And I want to get started because it's an exciting agenda today.